evening, everyone, and welcome back to Broadcasting Results with Rouse. It's season three, you all, and I am delighted tonight. Gives me great pleasure to have two wonderful young ladies, but it gets a little more closer to them for these two young ladies that I have on the platform tonight. And we are honored to have a mother and daughter duo as they talk about their journey. But as we recognize, Women History Month, I definitely want to recognize them. These two ladies has been a big advocate for women care, yet healthcare as it also. Tonight we have Miss Joyce Hudson, which is the mother, and Miss Kim Hudson, which is the daughter. And we want them to both, starting with the mother, just introduce yourself, and then we're going to jump right in as the viewers would have any questions, please drop them in the comment. And I would say, just before we get started, technology has its way, but it don't win over what God has for us tonight. And so we're in for a treat as we listen more to this journey. So, Miss Hudson, if you would
Yes,
introduce yourself, please, ma'am.
I could barely hear you.
If you would, can you introduce yourself for us tonight?
You have an echo. I could barely hear what you're saying.
Can you introduce yourself for us?
Can I introduce myself?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, hi. I'm Joyce Halberton Hudson, better known Apostle Joyce Hudson. Um, I'm a mother of two wonderful daughters, and I'm retired and I'm 100% into ministry at this time.
Thank you. And Miss Kimber?
Hello, I'm Kimala Hudson. I am the oldest daughter of Joyce and Amos Hudson. I'm the mother of four grown children and the grandmother of three. I live here in Andrews, and
Can hear.
it's a wonderful pleasure to be here on the broadcast with you all tonight.
Thank you, ladies, much. So we want to get started. Miss Joyce Hudson, can you hear us? Just want to check in with you again. Can you hear us?
Mm, The echo is really bad. You could. It's like every other.
Okay, Miss Kimber, can you hear us?
I can hear you. Yes, ma'am.
So we'll get started with you. And Miss Joyce says you can hear us. Just let us know, okay? So, Miss Kimber, if you would, other than obviously being a mother and a grandmother and one of the lovely daughters of Miss Joyce here, can you tell us what inspired you to become a registered nurse that you are, and how did your mother's journey help influence you in that decision?
Okay, I was inspired to be a nurse. I can remember going back like in sixth grade when my mom was first diagnosed with breast cancer. And as a sixth grader, that was a very scary time for me, that my mom was sick and I was afraid that she was going to die. Because the only person that I know at that time, as you know, 6 year old, sixth grade, I could have been about 11 years old, that had breast cancer was one of my aunts, and she died.
Mm,
And I know cancer was a bad thing, even though I didn't know exactly what it was or how it affect people, but I know it was something bad and something that we didn't want to have.
yes,
So
ma'am.
at that time, as a sixth grade, I said, "Hey, I'm going to go to school and be a medical doctor, and come back and treat the women in the community because it looks like these women in the community are the ones being affected with cancer."
Mm,
But as time went on, I didn't do that, of course. When I graduated from school, I um, I got grown and did other stuff, and I ended up having a set of premature twins. And at that time, I made the decision to go back to school to be a registered nurse in order for me to understand what the doctors were saying about their care and have some type of base knowledge because they use terminology that I did not necessarily know at that time in
mm-hmm.
order to be able to take care of my children better, the twins better. So that's what really motivated me to be a registered nurse initially on the end.
Okay, Miss Joyce, are you back here now where you can hear us? Okay, we'll give her a few minutes to get her audio straight. So, Miss Kim, I want to, you mentioned about registered nurse and obviously your mom's journey as it related to breast cancer. And I know for a number of years you've been traveling nursing, you've been a nurse at different school settings, but recently you find a desire to transition. as another journey for you as a business owner with in Lake Cities, the PD Medical, if I'm correct, the PD Medical Career Training. Is that correct?
That's correct, exactly. How I came about, I previously taught health science class at Hemingway Career Center in Hemingway, and I know most people call it Hemingway Vocational Center if they're local. And when I was out traveling as a nurse, I had a former coworker call me and say, "Hey, I ran into some ladies that own PD Medical of Lake City, and at that time they were willing to sell it." And I went when I came home. I went and visited with them, see what the business was about. Came home, talked with my family. I prayed about it and said, if God see the desire for me to get it, I will go ahead and purchase the business because there is a need in the community for quality education in order to take better care of our adults, our seniors, our children, and people with disabilities. So there's a need in the community for it.
Absolutely, absolutely. And so, with this school now, you've been up open, if I'm not mistaken, for a couple of months now.
Mhm.
And Miss, I must pause for just a moment. Miss Joyce, are you back with us by chance? Okay, I just didn't want to overlook her. Thank you all
Right.
again for those that are tuning in. Come on in, coming on in. We're talking to the Hudsons. I call it the mom and daughter. And we want to just hear from them as it is Women History Month. Miss Joyce Hudson, which is the mother, have a story in regards to her breast cancer journey. And the daughter was just talking about kind of what inspired her a little bit. In the beginning, she really didn't made that initial move. She gave birth to two twins that was premature at the time. Her mom, with her being 11 at the time, had breast cancer. So a lot of things led up to where she is currently today. Since that journey, she's had an opportunity to teach in the nursing field, and now she is currently the business owner of a facility that is in Lake City, South Carolina, which is also a part of Florence County. And so we just hearing from her in regards to her just sharing that journey thus far and kind of what led her to really where she are and what motivated her to take that initiative. And we're all having a little bit of technical difficulty, so I ask that you just bear with us. And every now and then I'll kind of check on Miss Joyce Hudson just to see if her audio is back up. So again, Kim, I'll come back to you. What has it been like, throughout this journey, working as a mother, as a daughter? And can you share with the viewers like a moment where you thought you illustrate illustrated strength in regards to partnership? When I talk about partnership, I'm talking about, part your ways with your family. That's your personal, and then you still catering to the business side. So tell us that moment when you realize I got to have strength both.
Right. The biggest thing about that was being able to provide for my children is one thing, but by working with my mom, I learned a valuable lesson. Learning to give community service back. Community was the biggest thing. I'm sorry about that, y'all. My light went out. Can y'all still see me here?
Yes, ma'am. I can still see you.
Okay. So being able to give back community service was another thing because I was taught that, we always give back to the community. And as my mom was the breast cancer survivor, and we did a lot of performance of the American breast cancer walks and celebration of life in December, that meant I had to get out there and work and set up tables, take patients back and forth to their appointments, and wipe people's faces when they were throwing up. So it was a lot of things that I had to do there that mold me to be a better person, so I can be a better business owner, knowing that the need is in the community, so I can give back.
Absolutely. And one thing you shared in regards to working aside your mom in a partnership, I can remember being, definitely had to have been early high school. And your
Mhm.
mother, as she still is now, has been a big, big advocate for breast cancer. And I remember my mom telling me, like, hey, we're going to Texas. I'm like, okay, I just felt like it was a trip. But I just, at that moment, I realized the unity and strength of women. And I rode on a bus full of women that went down to Houston, Texas. And there, I mean, it was Pink was all over in regards to how women loved on each other and just brought unity and strength amongst this community of people that survived cancer, but also those that support it. So I love the fact that you highlighted the strength of yourself in partnership, but also your mom, because that was many years ago that I was a little girl and had a chance to do that. So I can just be reminded now how she's continuing to do great things in regards to that. So thank you for sharing that. And so I want to go right into just you telling us a little bit about the school setting itself, and how you're looking forward to highlight what the school has done and or what it will continue to do in regards to the various programs that you all will offer.
Okay, so the school is PD Medical Career Training Center, and it's located in Lake City. And our curriculum is set up according to the state standards so that all the programs that are offered, the students will be able to complete the programs and get their certification of completion and be qualified to take the national test. And most of the time, it's either under credential or the National Health Association, which is NHA, which is the world largest healthcare database or recognizable degree system in the United States.
Okay.
And what I've done is network with the facilities in different businesses to ensure that my students are meeting the expectation of the employees whenever they go out to work.
Well, I definitely want to stop just to again recognize you as Women History Month, but just to say congratulations to you. You've definitely been on the battlefield for healthcare for a long, long, and not many people can go into that and actually master it. Again, what you're saying, your journey of your mom having breast cancer, and then your two daughters who have grown up to be wonderful young ladies, by the way.
They're grown now. Yeah.
Just start thinking about what all you had to do for them and their journey of health itself, and still today they're grown and doing great things, and that's what we're like, when we see strong women that can fight through any challenge or adversity. That truly means a lot and gives a lot of people inspiration. And so I want to lead into that because, again, we as individuals don't just get to where we are overnight just by a click of a finger. And so I want to talk about moments where you felt like you overcame a challenge, or like what lessons that you feel like you learned from. So what were some of your biggest that is obstacles that you felt like you had or you faced maybe when you were launching this school?
Okay, the biggest challenge that I've faced so far is marketing, letting people know that the school is there, letting them know what programs that are offered, letting them know how they can get funding to come to class, letting them know that we have a high success rate in the school and stuff. That is the biggest challenge that I face since I started the business is marketing.
So, with you mentioning that, can you tell us or the viewers as well, how could we help get this school out? You mentioned something about funding, and we definitely want to make sure there's a lot of schools out there, and we want to make sure that people are taking advantage of these opportunities because, indeed, I think they are great opportunities for those that want to particularly be in this field. So, tell us, walking away from this, how could we get this in our churches? How could we get this to our family and friends? How can we get this in our local high schools? Tell us how we can support what you have going on.
Okay, I offer the phlebotomy program, pharmacy tech, front office assistant, the EKG program, clinical medical assistant program, and of course the nurse's aide. And a lot of people say the CNA program, but you don't gain that C until you take your test. So you're the nurse's aide. And we have a website set up called PD Career Medical Training Center. They can go to our website. I have flyers available. I have letters that I can, send to someone if they want to share it on their with their church, or they can put the flyers on their Facebook and share it with other people. And it's word of mouth. Because right now, our last class had a successful rate. I had 5 students that graduated from the clinical medical class, and they all pass their nationals on the first time. So that means a lot that the students are learning and able to pass the test. And so that's one thing that I said about it is that you come there to provide education for the adults, because I call it adults because they are adults, students, and we wanted to be able to have them sustain a financial income for their families as well. And
Absolutely.
I also have partnered with WIOA, which is the unemployment office, and
Okay.
the PD region, um, which is the PD region will be Georgetown, Winsburg, and King Street area, Winsburg County, and Horry County, and then the Santee Lynches area region, which is like Sumter, Lee County, Kershaw County, and Clarington, and then also with the Florence County, which would be Florence, Darlington, Marlboro, Marion, Dillon areas. So I have partnered with all of them for funding as well as other programs that there are out there available for them. And hopefully, as time go on, I can put letters in the church and meet with the churches and have them, sponsor a scholarship with some of their members as well.
Absolutely. Again, you all, we are here broadcasting results with Rouse, and we have the owner of PD Medical Careers Training Center right there in Lake City, South Carolina. This young lady brings you a wealth of knowledge when it comes to the nursing field. She's been doing it as long as I've known it's been being done. She's been in that field herself, and she's had quite experience traveling the world. She talked about her journey early on, if you're just getting on, about what kind of inspired her by her two twin daughters, yet her mother when she was battling breast cancer. We had her on earlier, but there's a slight technical difficulties. But nevertheless, the daughter is here, and she's definitely been filling the void in regards to the journey itself. And I thank you for that. Just moving along, when I hear you talk about the community, when I hear you talk about the school itself, I have to, we're looking ahead because we are hopeful that this is something you will continue to do. And knowing that students could take advantage of this, and knowing the other additional funding that supports this, do you have any plans to expand in the schools and currently what is offered and maybe even the location?
Yes, that's a great question. um, you know, Now is the time for me to renew my license because every year we have to renew our license through the commission.
Okay.
And I'm adding some programs to my platform so it could be like online classes for the students.
Okay.
And that would be that they will have to do the online portion and come in and do some of the hands-on skills because all of my classes, I try to offer a clinic site as well as skills for them and
Okay.
not just the online stuff, which is a little different than a lot of programs because some programs are just strictly online. But I want you to come in and get some skills and hands-on and send you to a clinic site. And yes, eventually I would like for the school to expand to the point that I will be able to have my own LPN and RN school eventually in this area for our students and our community. Yeah, hopefully it will expand and do good. That's my
Gotcha.
ultimate goal. Yes.
Absolutely. I mean, you have to speak it out there in the air and keep pressing your way and working hard with it and gaining the partnerships and the connection amongst the people that really have a passion for healthcare and want to see it continue to grow. I'm appreciative of something you mentioned in regards to expanding it to online because oftentimes with people work schedules, we may not always have that time to get to a class during the day. But yet make arrangements where we can come in, like you say, do our hands on and maybe take what we can take online. So I'm glad you mentioned that. And thank you for at least putting that out there to someone that may want to take on that. Now they see that they can come right there to Lake City, South Carolina. Um,
Also, come on to Lake
Take
City.
advantage of it. There you go. There you go. So again, you all, if you are just coming in and just tuning in, that's right. We're here broadcasting results with Rouse, you all. We are here in season 3, and tonight we have the luxury of talking to the Hudsons. It sounds like a dynamic duo. We had the mother on earlier. But we love the journey that we can have the daughter in place to still carry on the torch. And that's definitely what it's all about. I want to kind of go to, the advice or inspiration, because you have a lot of people that wants to get into the medical field and just doesn't really know, like, how do I take off, what do I do, how do I get that drive? And like you say, initially you were just like, you were kind of doing what you were doing, and then all of a sudden your mother's journey happened, and then the birth of your two daughters happened. So I want to ask, like, what would you tell, I guess, all of us that are inspiring to maybe potentially get into the health field? What I don't want to just say women, because we recognize that men
Yes, me too.
are in healthcare as well. So what inspiration would you give any of us that are seeking the healthcare field?
The advice that I would give someone that are hesitant about coming into the health field is feel your heart. Ask yourself, are you a compassionate person? Do you have love for someone else? Can you make a side frown turn upside down? And do you care about other people?
Mm,
You can't be afraid of trying, because trying is the biggest thing that we can do is try, and then success will come with it. So you have
absolutely.
to at least try and see how things work. And it's okay to change fields. Say, okay, I'm gonna try one aspect of the medical field. If I don't like that, you can try another, because there are over 300 careers in the medical field, and a
Hmm.
lot of people don't realize how many careers. They only think it's simple, like nursing or CNA. But then you have occupational therapy, you have other positions. You have, like, for me, I went into correctional nurses for a while. And I'm gonna say there's all avenues of nursing, or the medical field that you can have, because the person that checks you in at the doctor's office is a clerical person, and they're the medical clinical administrative person. So that's
Hmm.
a title in the medical field. So they're all avenues. They don't have to be direct, hands on with the patients. Whoever does the building for the doctor's office or hospital, that's medical building and coding. They're all avenues for medical field. So the biggest thing is, try it, see if you like it. And if you don't like it, try another part of it. Because don't as long as people are living and getting older, the medical field is always going to be here. It's not going anywhere.
Absolutely. And listen, you said something my mom have said years and years and years. Although I didn't went following her path for the medical field, but I loved how she continued to put it, like, the medical field is not going to go anywhere. So if you
It's
ever
not.
want to switch your career path, it's going to always be here. And I just thank her for just speaking life into that area, knowing that, hey, like you said, if you ever want to switch fields, or maybe entertain something else, the medical field is one thing that is not going to go anywhere. So thank you for just sharing advice to us as individuals that, again, kind of torn in between whether we want to stay in the medical field itself, and or, like you say, switch paths. I mean, clearly you said it's over 300 plus programs, so that's good to
Yeah.
know for individuals that may want to consider to do something different. Again, you all, if you are just coming in, we are here with Miss Kim Hudson herself, the one that has battled the health field for many, many, many years personally, and now she's on the journey professionally. And I just thank God for her that she didn't see fit to let it stray away from her because of her circumstances and or what she has been facing personally, but she continued to make a mark that a lot of other individuals will be blessed behind what she's being blessed for, especially opening up her official business. So again, I kudos to you. If you
Oh,
have
thank
questions
you.
um, for her, please just put them in the comments, so that we can at least try to get to them and try to answer them best way we can in regards to it. And so as we kind of just move on, as we continue to talk about the health field itself, what is something, when we talk about coming to PD, that people can walk away and say, you know what, I'm going to recommend the next person to this school because I saw how it made a difference for me.
There are a few things that a student will walk away with. One, it will be the knowledge that they learn. Two, there's a little saying that I always go by, because my grandmother said, I said, Grandmother, you had all these kids, 21 kids, how were they all successful?
Mm,
And she said, um, sticks and stones will break your bones and words will never hurt you. And she said, that's the biggest lie ever told.
Mm.
She said, sticks and stones may break your bones, but words hurt. So, as a teacher and an instructor, I encourage my students. I always feed them positive things. I always encourage them to do the best they can. I break down my lessons so that they can learn on every aspect of learning because I'm a certified teacher. So I
Mm.
make sure I use all the teaching strategies that I learned and apply to my classroom setting. So not only are my students able to learn, they're able to give me back feedback and demonstrate their knowledge, pass their national tests, get a job, and be able to sustain themselves. So of course I would recommend the PD medical career training to all of my friends because I have a good success rate.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
the struggle is real that not everybody are good test takers, but whenever you get all your classes or the majority of your students to pass the first time around, that says a lot about the instruction that's being taught. So, I'm not only shaping minds, but I'm shaping people and character as well. And one of the biggest things that I'm also adding to my program this year are soft skills. Because a
Mm.
lot of people don't have good soft skills. And
Absolutely.
going out in the public, dealing with sick people that are already sick, that don't want to be in the hospital, that families may be working and they feel like they are a burden to them. You need to have that extra soft skills to make that person feel better as a sick person, as a caregiver. And those are things that I'm implementing as well. And I talk about these things in my program. And I demonstrate that in my students so that they can go out and demonstrate other things as they go along and apply to all areas of their life.
Thank you for that. I want to go back to something you mentioned earlier, just in case someone just got on or those that were on and need this information to be able to tell someone else. You mentioned that you're getting, or there's maybe, I want to make sure I'm saying it right, could possibly be a partnership with funding. Um, I'm not sure whether you said something about what was the,
WIOA is
okay,
the unemployment office. I've already got approved for WIOA. So I have funding that's granted through them.
okay,
And I
so,
also, okay, go ahead.
no, 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 I'm sorry. Go ahead. I want you to make sure you get your thoughts out. Go ahead.
Yeah, so right, and I've partnered with one home health agency that sponsored some students, and when they graduated, she guaranteed them a job as well. So
Oh,
that's
that's
good. So I'm looking
great.
for business partnership as well too.
Absolutely. So what I was going to ask about the WIO program, if I'm saying that right, how if a person goes there, what do they need to tell them in regards to registering for your school, or how does
Okay,
that
what they would
say?
Okay, so what there are steps you have to meet and guidelines that you have to meet for WIOA in these counties. So you will go there, set up an appointment. They will give you a screening packet, see if you're qualified, and then you will have to go to an orientation. You have to bring back some documents. You have to take a work keys test. It's not called work keys anymore. It's called WIN, but it's the same as the work keys test. And
Okay.
then you let them know that you want to come to PD Medical Career Training Center in Lake City, and they will set up a funding voucher for you to come into the facility, and they will pay for your books and your supplies, your uniform and things like that. So
Okay.
you just have to let them know exactly where you want to go to, and then that's PD Medical Career Training Center, and in Lake City, and let them know that's where you want to go, and they will set up the funds. And if you don't qualify. So say hypothetically you already have a master's degree or a doctor's degree in English, and you are out of because you're a displaced worker, you going under WIOA, they're not going to pay for you to come again because you have a doctor's degree or a master's degree. So therefore, I do have payment plans that you can set up, and you pay a down payment and you make bi-weekly payments or weekly payments. Long as the program is paid for by the time you graduate, I'm good with that.
Okay. Okay. Sounds good. Sounds good. So with your classes, just for another question, is this during the day, evening? What is your hours for your current classes?
Okay, I run daytime classes from 10 to 2, and then I have evening classes from 5 to 8,
Okay. Okay. And is that Monday through
Monday through
Friday?
Friday. Monday
Okay.
through Friday. And I would like to have at least 6 students in a class. However, if it's less, I would take less and be happy, but I would sure love to have more.
So are you currently, I guess, is a class currently in session, or are you currently enrolling for the next class?
We currently accept the application for the next class that will be starting the April 7th and April 14th for those programs that are running.
Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
again, you all, that's April 7th and April 14th, the next class that will be starting at the PD Medical Career Training in Lake City, South Carolina. So, again, if you know someone that wants to take advantage of this, please reach out to her. She has a wealth of knowledge, okay, that I do know she does. She has a lot when it comes to the medical field. So, if you have a question or want to hear more, or I may be extending this for her by saying this, but I truly feel like she is a gem to the medical field. And so if you're just needing advice or insight on which path to go, she's definitely one I would recommend as a mentor because she's been in it. She knows it from the side of being a student, from being a teacher, and now running the business side of it. So you're kind of getting a lot of things from this one individual. And again, you all, if you have any questions, please drop them here in the comments here, and we'll be glad to take a look at them and ask them as they pertain to Miss Hudson and what she currently do. Um, is there anything else, Miss Hudson, that you want to leave with the people? Anything else coming up other than your April 7th and April 14th class that you want to share? And if there's nothing else currently coming up other than those two things, if you want to just recap what you shared, and again, how you want the people to go out. And I always like to say, tell a friend and call a neighbor. Now I'm gonna have to say
That's
that
right.
come on down to Lake City and check out the PD Medical
Yeah.
Career Center. So, is there anything else you would like to share?
Usually, I'm in the office Monday through Friday, unless I'm out in clinicals. Um, Come by, stop by, speak to me, introduce yourself. We can sit down and talk about programs that's there. I can give you some advice on, what's your specialty, your weakness, or your thoughts on what you may want to do. And I'm there. Come by and see me at PD Medical Career Training Center down in Lake City. Um, and thank you for having me on. I'm looking forward to seeing everybody. Come on down there and find your passion.
Yes, ma'am. Just one. I know we're saying Lake City, and I know this is probably what some people probably are wondering. So the best way I can tell you is right behind the shrimper.
Right behind the shrimper.
Do you have the direct address for someone that needs to put it in their GPS just to get them directly to you?
Okay, it's 115 North Matthew Road, Lake City, South Carolina 29560.
Okay.
That is directly behind the shrimper.
Yes, ma'am. So I would again say that it's on the same road of the high school if you're coming off of 378, but you need to take it all the way down like you're coming towards the shrimper. And if you're coming from that direction, it'll be on your left hand side, and the shrimper will be on your right hand side. However, if you're coming from the opposite side, where the eye doctor is in the Santee Cooper site is there in Lake City, and you coming down it on the right hand side. So I hope what I just said has been helpful for those that will be looking into this. Again, I can't thank you enough, Ms. Hudson, for the work that you've done over the years, volunteering and just being a wealth of knowledge. You're like a book walking in regards to the health field, yet particularly nursing. And so I commend you for the number of years that you've given to the passion of your mom and her journey she's went through with breast cancer, to your two lovely daughters. I so love to see them now have grown up into two um, young ladies. I have to tell the boys, move to the side. It's about your sisters. They definitely
Exactly.
describe it. And I say this to you all. Um, I say it jokingly when I tell the boys move to the side, more particularly because these two young ladies, as she mentioned early on, um, born prematurely, and sometimes life can bring you that sudden moment where you just don't know. But these two young ladies has fought a good fight, and they are truly standing strong as of today. So we thank you for just hanging in there as a mother, and continue to build yourself professionally on the nursing field. So thank you all for viewing. Thank you, Ms. Hudson, for being willing to take a seat at the table. I'm hopeful that the information that she shared has been delightful to some of you, and you will continue to share it to others. Please share it in your churches, in your communities, in your businesses, and those that you would just come in contact with. Let them know Kim Hudson is down there in Lake City, South Carolina, with the PD Medical Career Center. I also like to close out with a couple of events that are coming up. April 19th in the big city. That's right, the big city of Trio, South Carolina. We will have our first official kids field party, and we asking that you all bring your kids out. They will officially be going into spring break during that time, so bring them out. Parents, you're welcome as well, but we definitely want to make sure that as we see that um, this field culture has definitely been on a rise for South Carolina and all over, but we want to make sure we are patronizing our kids because they're loving what they're seeing too. So that'll be a day that they can actually have for themselves, but adults, you are welcome to come as well. The 26th, we will have a benefit ride. A young lady, 13 year of age, in Georgetown County was hit by a drunk driver a couple of months back, and her family has been a great support to my family. We're kind of like trail ride cousins, families. We do a lot of rides together, and kind of the things that I love to do is also make sure that we support charities. And me, along with a couple of other sponsors, we're putting on a benefit ride April 26th. It'll be held in Hemingway, South Carolina. There's flyers out there on your platforms, but if you see it, share it with others. If you don't have ATVs, golf cart, it's okay. Don't let that keep you away. You're still welcome to come out. It'll be a day of fun and just fellowship, but we also want to make sure that we a part of the proceeds will go to that young lady and her families. And we also have a other couple of community initiatives that we will be supporting as well. So stay tuned to those. As we begin summer a little bit, May 31st, we'll be bringing Frank Johnson to the big city of Trio. Frank Johnson is a native of up towards the Greenville, South Carolina area, but he has two running hit songs right now. You might have heard one as Don't Hate on Me, and the other, Don't Step on My Shoes. I ask that you go on Eventbrite and get your early advance tickets. Go get them, but come out, bring your lawn chairs, and let's just have a grand time with him. We'll have another couple of other artists that will be on too. But by way of that, I just want to move over to Andrews, South Carolina, which is considered close to home, but more home for Kim. They will be having 803 Fresh that first Saturday. Miss Morrison will be bringing 803 Fresh to the Andrews Recreation Center. So if you have time, y'all check. It's a lot of things going on, so definitely check those things out. That same weekend, the Mud Cousins will be having their trail ride event, which will be a Friday and Saturday event. Coming more further on into July would also be I call him the Henny Boy. He will be having an official 40th birthday celebration. So there's a lot that is going to be going on in Williamsburg County. May 10th, we have the Sexy Steppers out of Hemingway, South Carolina. They'll be doing the event at the JJ Metro. And I can go on, but I ask that you follow my page. But I just want to shoot those things out to you. Kim, I also want to just give kudos to you. You have a lot of love and support. The Hey Kim, love this Kim, great information.
Thank
So
you.
thank you again for being willing to come on. Obviously, we see with the comments that your information has definitely been beneficial. So, to you all, thank you again for tuning in. Until next time, we are going to be here broadcasting results with Rouse. So, stay tuned. Again, you all have a good night, and thank you again, Kim.
Thank you. Good night.